Ooh la la. Ooh la la. All right, we have the Oola coach. It's not her first time starring on the show with us, and she's going to show you in more depth about what plates may be stopping and affecting your life. So she's going to talk about the 7 plates. You're going to start seeing your business, you're going to start seeing your life, your lifestyle, your friendships, so many ways to see how if you look at 7 components of your life, it brings in the ooh la la factor. So we're on episode 20. My name is Rhonda Liebig. I'm the founder of the Fresh Inspiration Show. So happy to be here with you as I get to dance and play and enjoy this space with you. Enjoy, enjoy. Shannon Sundberg, she has some really good nuggets for you. And what you want to do is you want to get a pen and also your journal so that you can track what ones of the plates that are moving slow in your life that have totally stopped, whichever one. Because even if you don't have trouble in that area yet, it's a sign that if you don't get that plate moving, you could have some repercussions. Good, juicy stuff. Enjoy episode 20. Rhonda Liebig here, hosting and holding the space as you enjoy. I would love for you to also go into our group, the Fresh Inspiration Show, Mindset Transformation Entertainment. You're going to have me dropping good nuggets once a week, some motivational stuff, some fun, playful stuff we do, and also all the promotions around the next show, the next podcast release, the next 6-week expert series. We have tons of experts coming in. And after working with so many experts, over 100 experts, I really believe that we're doing some really good stuff here on the show. I hope you're enjoying it. You have an insightful day. Enjoy episode 20 with Shannon Sundberg.
Fresh inspiration. Fresh inspiration. Fresh inspiration. Fresh inspiration.
Shannon, I'm so happy that you are here and that we get to learn from you. And I loved your 10 minutes, right at the top of the hour when we were working through the opening fun ceremony. I had so much fun with you ladies this morning. So, Shannon, I wanted to ask you a question, and I know you have your flow that you want to do. Can you give some insight about like what we've been talking about? Because you are definitely in the spiritual space of learning your journey of getting to like that third layer in Reiki and your certifications with that. You have certification with Oola, which is a spiritual spot. And then you have the Grow Your Green. And that just feels so like I can really put a seed and grow this green. So we're talking about water, we're talking about soil, we're talking about that holistic space. So Shannon, how do you feel about that conversation I was talking about, not allowing somebody to be a number, not really being on the exterior and opening up spirit to allow you to be free for the day so that you can be in there 100% as yourself? How does that feel? I think these are kind of new conversations we're having about how business is like, this is shouting out more loud than just one-on-one conversation. How do you feel about that? We're talking about people more as spirit and not doing the old way of doing business.
So when we first started talking about not having people just be a number, I remember thinking, well, how am I going to know if I'm doing a good job? And coming from that accounting background, so much was tied to what is black and white on this piece of paper and or this graph, seeing it there. And what it really made me do is embrace that intuitive side of myself that I've kept quiet most of the time about. And when I embrace that and I think about how it feels, then I know if I'm doing a good job with my client. I can feel intuitively their progress.
Yeah.
And if they are ready for the next step, or are they holding back? And embracing that will serve to serve them better and help them grow and have this gratitude for moving forward, and help them dream bigger, help them take those action steps to remove those blockers and take those accelerators to boost them forward. And so it is a new idea that I'm really loving how, for me, it's making me feel with working with my clients and moving forward, because it's going to open up much more for them as well. So I'm really excited and loving it.
And Shannon, I feel like it's a flow too, because
Mhm.
instead of having to, because there's so much work to be done on the back end of the business because we help businesses
Mhm.
along with what we do. And there's a lot to do back there. So what kind of things do you really want to keep track of? And when you start going in this process, you can feel like the type of support that you need, how the flow in the back office should work, because you can feel it. And you're talking to people and I got to get on the phone and talk to this. Oh my gosh. Oh, and it starts opening up. So you're not searching for leads, because we're talking about grow your green too in this process, and about one of the moving plates of the 7 F's. But we're really speaking like how can we run business? And I think the Fresh Inspiration Show, tell me if you're not on board, by the way, if this does not feel, right, or if it does, or if this is new for you. Now we get to go and play. And this is for Sabina too. Sabina and I talking about her program coming up, and like, how many people do you want in there? And you can start seeing the spirits start showing up. And that's what I feel is with the Fresh Inspiration Show. I can see you, I can feel you when you're coming in the space, the container that we're holding. So when you're making those calls to connect with people, you're starting to feel the people and really be able to hear them and know that like what they're having are these issues. And it's not, oh, they have these issues, so I need to make sure that they know why they should be with me. How can I get them to say yes? And there's something different about that, and people feel that. And it really hurts the space of like what Raven was talking about earlier, about just stepping forward and growing and playing with that. So if there's anything else you want to add into that, I so appreciate you being here, my friend. Let's play.
Yes. There is definitely, like you said, there is a flow, and we can get caught up in just focusing on one area. And I love sharing about the 7 areas, the 7 pillars of life that all intermingle, and we need to balance all of these responsibilities in all of these areas. And how we do that is by boosting the areas that we're strong in the areas that we know we have to do it, but maybe that's not our strongest talent.
Mm-hmm.
But you can boost those areas. And when you are spinning your 7 plates, you do your best to not have the wobbly plates, and the momentum of one can carry over to the next. And so figuring out that balance, and it changes every day. So honing those skills of just little adjustments every day is amazing. And you can make those adjustments mostly in your mindset. And, you know, I'm working towards this goal, and it's really hard because it's about reducing my debt. And I really want to go do this fun thing. And so looking at your other F's, and the 7 F's are fitness, finance, family, field, as in your job, career, faith, friends, and fun. And setting goals and having dreams in all of these areas serves you to expand and grow in yourself. And having those dreams of, you know, from even when you're a child, when society hadn't put pressures and expectations on us, we had that innocence and of not having put limiting beliefs on us yet. We had these dreams that, like, we could move mountains and I can become a doctor, and all of these great dreams that we, through life, start to compact them and make them smaller and smaller and smaller. And helping make them bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger is what I love doing. I love holding the space for the biggest dream possible for my clients and helping them get there, figuring out where they are, where they want to go, and making that pathway and balancing those plates. And one of the things that the mind is very powerful. Words are very powerful. And how to enhance those, how to bring up memories and reminders of how you felt in a situation. When you're feeling that joy, how do you feel? Is there a color that reminds you of that joy? So a visual. Is there is there an aroma? So an essential oil. And that's why I love the getting outside, being around plants and trees. What did that energy feel like? How did that feel like in your body? These are all reminders of that. And how to take those limiting beliefs and break them apart so that you can get back to feeling and believing in your dreams and your goals. And so I love using aromatherapy. I love using energy work. I love using vibrational raising frequency with tuning forks. I love incorporating all of that in to the mindset work because it helps break down that boulder that's in the way. And eventually it falls away and you're able to move on. And then you create a new sensation, a new feeling with that joy, with that happiness, with the success. Being loud and out there about what you're doing and how you're feeling. And so bringing it all together
Hey,
for,
Shannon,
yes.
I know that you are bringing it together. Can I share with you some of the community stuff as we're adding
Yes.
in? Because you're shifting things here. When you were talking about the wobbly plate, I
Yes.
could physically see that, so I was typing in, oh yeah, I don't want that wobbly plate. And it almost feels like a joke, but what you're talking about is some real life.
Mhm.
We can wake up and be so scared if we don't see those 7 plates happening. Fitness, oh my gosh, your field, are you happy with it? All those kinds of things. So Kelly said, gotta keep those plates spinning. You gotta keep those plates spinning. If you don't, then it's easy to wake up and be fearful and not live in your passion, not be able to find the true you. There's something that's going to be hunkering and pulling you down. So I love that about Kelly. Also, Elizabeth Stitt, this is why I'm so happy you're doing this stuff. She said, sadly, I think today's kids already have limiting beliefs. Elizabeth, this is your specialty. Be interesting for you to give some more insight about that, because that's very, very interesting. Being in this space as an entrepreneur and expanding, I guess maybe I'm not like the general population. So the limiting beliefs is very interesting. Like, what are you seeing out there? And this is great because it's going to add in with, Shannon guiding these new souls that are coming in for the different things with the Grow Your Green and the 7 plates. And she said, when I ask 12-year-olds what they want to be when they grow up, they have very serious goals mapped out. The pressure, huh? Yeah, okay. She's saying more, Elizabeth, this is incredible stuff. Thank you for giving insight. So Shannon, I guess it's the feeling that I have to, and that this is the only way that to be able to survive in life. I do know somebody that's highly creative, Kirsten's age, and the family says, well, that's for play. But when she does her artwork, I really get a shift from it. I said, well, I mean, it's pretty cool to see what she's doing. And so it's the mindset of the fear.
Mhm.
So is that how we get out of the fear, Shannon? What do you think about that when you're not having all 7 plates moving? What are you finding what shows up?
So when someone has something blocking them and they aren't supporting a certain pillar, it can really send fingers, because they're all intertwined. I always think of them as like the vines under the dirt of the plant, that the roots, and they all intermingle. And so if you're struggling in one area, that's going to carry over. If you hate your job, you dread going there, that it can manifest in you, where when you wake up, you're dreading going there. And eventually you start thinking about it the night before, going, oh, I'm going to go to sleep and then I have to wake up and go there. Then you're going to dread going to sleep or going to bed, because you know the next step is waking up to go there and you dread going there. So then you're not getting enough sleep, hydration, food, activity. That's part of your fitness. You're now affecting your fitness, and that can lead to a lot of different things: stress, anxiety, a lower patience, which can affect your family and your friends. If you come home from that place that you dread going to, you are not happy. And how does that energy exude from you? Is that hug for your child going to be as loving and feel as loving as if you just came from a joyful place, somewhere that you love going, or doing something that you're so passionate about? There is a difference in your energy and how you come off to other people. And so, not struggling in one area will start to intermingle in the other areas. And that is also where you can get other areas to support a transition, a transformation. If you hate your job, find what you're passionate about and make that into something. Raven did that. And how you plan for that is you say, you know what? I'm going to get my finances in order. I have this dream and I'm going to take these action steps every single day and I'm going to move towards it. And I'm going to use my finances to save so that I can open up and do this over here. And it may take a little bit of time, but delayed gratification is something that is so much deeper in our soul than that instant, yay, super quick, and it's temporary.
Yep.
Versus something that's much more permanent that you can then grow from. So using your finances, having the support of your family, your friends, maybe that journey to this new career, going from being an accountant, an HR professional, to having a wellness space and doing energy and aromatherapy and mentoring, that was a big transition. And I worked towards it. It didn't happen in 1 year. It happened in 3 years, but I planned for it. I worked on these pieces and I got support. And as things started coming together and my energy and how I was being transformed, it accelerated that progress. Because then that dream and goal became real for others around me too. So taking something that where you dread going to, taking the support of that family, taking that support of your friends and bringing those finances in to support changing that field into something that you love. And I love the Grow Your Green because that is the one F that can F up the others. It is the one F that is it can be extremely emotional. Yeah. People are extremely fearful. It can be very intimidating. And when we take that power back and take the control of it and make it serve us for our goals and our purpose, it transitions our mindset to embrace what finances can do to push us towards our goals. So,
and you, Shannon, the circling back with you about the plates and then bringing in and being able to explore in the finance and really feeling like, so you can see it, so you can feel like, okay, I actually have more control than I realize. And sometimes that's, even if you're not in control, if you can see it and be in that Grow Your Green, then it helps you. Elizabeth was bringing up, because we were talking about how the kids are showing up. So with you being able to guide more and more people through this Grow Your Green, and then also the 7 plates, so there's more balance, and us adults life of raising kids, you're raising Matt, is Elizabeth said that's what the issue is. The family's focused on finance, money. The education is so important. And then Elizabeth said, focusing on the other 6 plates are what, and so she's looking at it from the kid perspective, as your clients are going to be the adults that are disseminating that information. And then Kelly Lloyd said, this is great information, Shannon. makes you think about the interconnectedness of the elements in your life. Interconnectedness. I put a V in there. I do like to play with words. So she was talking about that, and Elizabeth said, my first thought was that to really get balance in all these areas would necessarily mean doing less of everything. So Elizabeth and Shannon, there may be some partnership in there because they're coming from different angles. Yeah, so that's lovely. So Elizabeth was coming in your kid sense and the approach of what you do, to Shannon saying, you're going to be all right. You're going to, this is real stuff, and it's time to get real so that you can feel safe. You can feel secure. What's coming up for you in that space, Shannon?
And yeah, so my son is 7, and I think that's probably why I'm even more passionate, because some of the work that's done in the Grow Your Green is to recall your first money memory and what that looks like. And then how has that carried you forward? Like, do you know approximately at what age you had that money memory? And I've been so surprised at how young people have their first money memories.
Yeah.
You know, even 5, 6 years old, having money memories of whether, and that carried with them through the rest of their life. And so I think back to like my first money memory, and it was probably when I was around 7 years old, which is where my son is now. And you know, that conscious language that is associated with money, the fear, that scarcity mentality versus the abundance mentality. I love so much of the conversations today have been about being open. What you're giving out is what you're going to be receiving. You have to be open up. If you hold it in a fist and have that tight grip, you're not open to receive anymore because your hand's closed. So being open to receiving is so important, but not letting it instill that fear. You're always going to have enough. And everyone is so brilliant in their own way that if you find that passion and you, like an accelerator of wisdom, having support, listening to the wisdom of others, calling on your friends and family, bringing all of those spinning plates, creating a momentum and energy to provide energy for the other ones that you're struggling in, can carry you forward and help balance out. All of the plates aren't going to spin the same speed all of the time. One might just hum along just perfect, where you just need a little tiny attention. Another one just might have that wobbling sway, but it's still spinning, and you feel like you spend so much time in that area. Eventually, that spinning is going to somewhat even out and balance you, and you will be working on having that healthy wellness across all of the areas. I was thinking about my Facebook group is called Wellness Within, and our wellness truly does come from within ourselves. And it's from within our mind, it's from within our hearts, within our souls. And a whole person is made up of body, mind, and soul. And so feeding and nurturing all three of those areas is really important for that overall wellness, which is what I thrive to do. So
I love that. You know, I love this conversation going back and forth. And Yvette said she had to leave, but she's been around, you know, watching. We've had a great community all 4 hours here. This conversation, Shannon, is something that feels so divine. It's not the feeling that, because at the beginning, you even talked about that you are working on minimizing your debt. And as an entrepreneur, we're always speaking about that. But that's not the main focus because that doesn't give you energy. Your money all of a sudden becomes something that is not really fun and a gift and scrumptious. It's this fear behind it. So when you brought up the Oola plates, and you start looking at the balance and you go, no, I have that over here and I'm going to take care of that. But that's just the byproduct, just like what we talk about in health. And I know you work with essential oils. You do some great rain bath, raindrop therapy. I've had a detox from you. So I know you have a physical location too. So you really know about smells and what you want for each thing in your life. You know, you put on valor before we even started today and things like that. There's a lot of things that you have your focus on. There's the sphere of SPHERE, not the FEAR, but the sphere of being able to really teach this stuff. So as you're looking at a wobbly plate, or you're looking at something really spinning really, really fast, which means you've been putting a lot of information and there's these other plates that maybe start wobbling, that's when we were talking about, like, you could focus on money and debt and it's just gonna just throw everything in a kink. So when you're bringing in the family, you talked about Matt, and I hope this is supporting everybody here on the Fresh Inspiration Show. Do you see where you fit in the 7 Fs? Shannon, where is it that you find that quite a few people really get stuck in when you're looking at the plate? You take a step back. Is there something that's happening, especially with the 2020 year, 2021, where people may feel stuck because of the big shifts that have been happening?
So what I have noticed is there has been a lot of fear about finances, which is part of why I really embraced this Grow Your Green, because I had this somewhat limiting belief that I'm never going to go back to accounting. I'm never going to go do that again.
Divorce ourselves from accounting, Shannon. I get it.
It's over there. But I did this program and then went through the training in this program, and it was really more of a feeling of just relief, like, oh, I've got this. Like, this is what the fear of what was to come, or in the beginning, it was the fear of what wasn't coming. And now I can appreciate and look forward to what is coming. And I may not know exactly in black and white what that number is, but I know it's coming. And that makes me, in my body, in my heart, and in my mind, be secure in my future and for the future of my son and my family. And so the fear around money has been really prevalent. And the other area has been, I loved the earlier when it was talking about having that quiet time. Because when you're quiet, you can hear things that you wouldn't otherwise hear. And when we have to go into isolation, limit our exposure to other people in physically,
Yeah.
I feel like it has brought a slower pace to many things in life that were just always go, 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 go. And especially being in California, or even just in this Bay Area where it's back to back to back to back, and we're running and we're doing this, and everything is so fast paced that when we have to slow down and really evaluate, we can realize that we've had relationships that weren't necessarily the healthiest for us. There were toxic relationships that were hindering where our thoughts and what we're doing, and coming back to the basics of evaluating who is empowering us, who is bringing us up instead of bringing us down. Has been a huge revelation for a lot of my clients, that when they stop being exposed to it in a physical way, they realize that they feel different. And embracing those healthy relationships and nurturing them, even if you can't be in the same room with someone, there is still that energy, there is still that rising, because you're constantly giving a hand up to each other instead of one person pulling you down.
Oh, gosh. So we're talking about friends and relationships. And that's one of the biggest things I learned this last year. And I had a great mentor that helped me with that, because it was very painful to cross over for how I used to show up and the friends I brought in to what I see now. And it's also business relationships. That's one of those plates that it comes in a personal space, and it also, business is part of our life as entrepreneurs. How we show up is the same thing. So, oh, thank you for giving that space. And I like how you layered in how all the plates are connected, because then it doesn't feel like you're overwhelmed. You go, here, wait, I have 7 plates. Like, I'm gonna hold the mic like, oh my gosh, I got 7 plates. I got 7 plates.
Yeah.
You're coming in and really being able to allow the space to breathe in that, oh, I've been living with 7 plates this entire time. Now I get to have strategies around that. Yeah, Sabine, I can't wait to hear what you're getting from this, because I'm loving all this. And about 5 minutes, we're going to transition so we can hear from Sabina. You know what's wonderful is, I hope you're with Shannon, you were talking about relationships. I hope in this symposium style and this play back and forth, that you really get to see that. I call everybody that comes in stars, but do you see that it's never the ego? It's just that they get to be lifted and be able to share this information like you're in a movie or stuff like that. So thank you, Shannon. What I wanted to say is that Kelly Lloyd has been talking about that she was talking about when she was about Matt's age. 7 is really an interesting age, because I think it happens earlier, because we get that feeling of the 7 plates and how things move, the energy and the imprint from how our families are showing up. So even before words are brought into money, you're starting to see that I had to clear a lot of that to be a true entrepreneur and to be able to serve in my passion. So everybody that's listening or in recording, give yourself that injection in your heart, how Shannon is showing up and not talking hard numbers and throwing things that just are so hard to catch. I really appreciate that. Kelly said in her earlier years, about 7, that she made $5 a week, and then it was pulled out to like long-term savings and this savings and low money you can spend. And so that's really good. You learn certain things, how to play with money so you're taken care of. And Kelly said, I think it's affected my whole career. I was taught about money from an early age, including investing, junior achievement, etc. But it also created a protective, conservative attitude towards taking risk. I, Kelly, and also Shannon, you're the expert in this area. You know what, and Michelle is saying this is a great discussion, is because Michelle knows her purpose, why she's here. This is fabulous. Kelly does too. I see it. I see that all these people coming in, and make sure you're checking in. But the feeling about not taking risk, because money is playful. The whole debt side is, okay, I'm going to take some debt on because I'm moving really quick. And I got you here. I'm only going to go so far, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes to grow, you got to learn how to figure out how to play with it. So with Kelly not learning about the risk, but just saying, this is what I need to do. But when you first start out and playing with this money, sometimes you love having a little bit of interest expense, because you're like, thank you, credit card, for being able to be there for me, because to really get up and going, I can't do a line of credit because that's not going to serve the purpose. Nobody's going to give me that yet because I don't have proof. And so there's special things about that. That's not a bad thing. But when you learn from your family how to divide and do those things, what do you think about this? Because we're talking, Shannon, you were talking about, where to go with the money and stuff, but there is some ways you can play with some of the risk. How does that feel for you when you're teaching this stuff and someone says, I have this credit card debt, and I just can't get rid of it. And like when they come in that way, where's the nurturing space that you'd like to angle in to help somebody here today?
So part of why I really love the Grow Your Green program is because, number one, we approach the mindset and to get you in the right space for moving forward. It doesn't matter what has happened in the past. You're moving forward, and you're going to do things a little bit differently. You're going to make some adjustments. And that is where there is a formula that so that if you have debt and you want to be debt free, how to get there. Not 100% is going to go towards that, because you also want a future. You also want to have fun. So there is this formula for reducing debt and investing and having fun, because if it's not fun, if you're not able to enjoy the journey, you're going to cut it short and not accomplish that debt reduction. And then there's also that security of moving forward, whether it's a legacy you want to leave behind or the early retirement. That future finance goal is being worked towards. And as you continue every single month working towards these goals, you're going to see a number reduce, a number rise, and you're going to have that fun in the middle. And so it makes it enjoyable. It makes it sustainable. And that is the reason why I love the program, because it is gentle. It is adjustable for every lifestyle, for every person. And it's also very, very empowering when you take it. It takes that intimidation away and empowers you to embrace, these are my numbers for next month. Oh, look, I have this coming up. And, whether it's a big birthday for someone or the holidays are coming, those months where you do have more expenses, you have looked forward enough that you have already worked that in, and it's okay. So that is what I love, is that it takes away that debt, propels you to your future for that security, and you get to have that fun along the way. And that fun also supports the family and your friends, and instead of cutting them off, like, nope, I can't go do that. You may say, I can't go do that 10 times this month, but I can go do that twice.
10 times.
So.
Yeah, that'd be like a massage every day, and going and seeing you and having a rain bath and letting my feet soak so I can get a detox like that. I mean, Shannon, if I could be there every day, I would, because your space is so wonderful. So we have like 10 more minutes left, like 12 more minutes left till the end of the hour. And I love playing, because I love, being the timekeeper, because I'm bringing the energy flow so that we know that we're getting into the space of exiting. And I always think of stuff as a threshold, like I said earlier. So the Fresh Inspiration Show, Sabina and Shannon and me also, think about how you showed up today and explore and play with some ideas and new thoughts that you have, and how you're exiting today. How did this, as entrepreneurs, we only have so much time. We got family, we got friends, we got field, we got, the 7 F's, Shannon. And when you think about this stuff, so I want to make sure you have time to share where people can catch up with you. I want to say, though, what Kelly said is that the structure around what she learned when she was younger, and not learning the fun part, is that stopped her from being an entrepreneur for so long, until she finally said, this is it. Actually, Kelly, I just made a voice for you. This is it. So, if anybody wants to add any more in here, Shannon, is there any space more that you wanted to add to serve that space? And Sabina, I know you're going to unmute and share your experience, but I want you to take lead here, Shannon. Is there anything else to make sure how we connect with you?
Yes, love to connect. My email is soilyaromatherapy@gmail.com. And I'll put these all in the links, but I also have a website, shannonsundbergcoach.com. And I have workshops every month. I have a 60-minute introduction to the Grow Your Green, so you can learn a little bit about it. The Grow Your Green is a 3-week program. And on a whole, the Oola for the 7 F's, I have a 3-week program, 10-week program, and also half-day workshops. And so for everyone on the Fresh Inspiration Show, I have a discount code for you to attend the half-day workshop. Normally $197, and I'll put in the discount code, and it will be $97. So it's half off for all of you lovelies. And I just reach out to me. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and I would love to let me, just send me a little note, and I'll love to connect with you, get you registered, and just take care of you.
I love it. What 4 hours? They just flew by. Hopefully we felt that we took care of everything. Just keep throwing it in if we didn't. We got some a little bit more time here. Sabina, what are you feeling in this journey today, and how you felt about this last hour for you, and what some of the things that Shannon was talking about?
That was very interesting what Shannon was presenting, and I was taking notes. It resonated a lot with me, because money is energy. We're just exchanging energy, really? But we put so many emotions into that energy that it just becomes this really challenging process. So for you, what you're doing there is just beautiful, helping people connect to the energy plan, right? I had to laugh a little bit because the Grow Your Green program in the 1960s was my mother putting money in envelopes so we could have new clothes for schools and go on vacation. And she would do that. She taught that to us. I mean, it's that same thought process of within what you have, you can do a lot if you work with it. And that is so beautiful. And I love how you're connecting things. I love the 7 F's and the importance of understanding that if in one area you're really failing, everything else is going to wobble because it spills over. You gave a beautiful sequence, Dan. That resonates so much with me too, because yes, it's always about balance and trying to have all plates not wobble and spin relatively well, not always equal, but well. So beautiful work. I look forward to connecting with you.
Yeah, I love how we really keep nurturing this space of giving and receiving and learning from each other.
Right. And just always, it's something I noted today, and I noted before, is this mindset. It's mindset, it's mindset. It's learning, getting new information, allowing it to come in, shifting how we think, and making the changes, and then everything around us changes, and we can move forward in a much easier way. And we come at it from all these different angles, and it's just so fascinating to me because it's there, whatever you need, whoever resonates with you.
Yeah.
It's there, and it is just offered, and it's beautiful.
Mm.
I know.
This has been real emotional.
Yeah.
So much good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So much ways to be able to connect in this virtual world. And haven't you felt like we're at a table, everyone? Fresh Inspiration Show, Sabina, Shannon.
It'll
You
happen.
get used to it.
I want to know what raindrop therapy is.
With raindrop therapies.
That
You
word
get-
caught me.
Yeah.
No.
There's something about the loneliness that can happen when we're in these four walls and figuring things out. And when you get to put an event together like this, where you get to show up and you're getting these special calls, from the stars of the show, please come. I would love for the support, or please come because I know this will help you so much. And I'd love for you to be there. And texting and direct messaging, whatever. You start feeling your passion that you don't have to be in this car salesman kind of place. And so if you're an entrepreneur, that's just a scenario, because there's some fabulous people that are that are out there doing that stuff, that come from the holistic space, because they've learned, like, people don't like to be pulled on and and being treated as a number. So when we're bringing this together, I believe whoever has come, thank you, by the way, that you're here because you have connected with that. And for us that are putting on the show, to the stars that are coming in, that you're learning to really play in the area of helping people know why they want to be with you. I hope this helps you in parenting, in and if you haven't had kids, all your relationships. So that's kids also, because it's relationships, business, how you feel like you may have broken through some things, and how you can free yourself from things that we talked about, things where we get stuck, and how we got to share in different mindsets. We had 4 people here giving specific things that we understood in our passion, the way that we think. And then you got to see the partnering. And I like the methodical process so you can write notes, give yourself breathing space. It's difficult when somebody talks really, really fast because there's so much good nuggets in everybody's passion. So I love the symposium style because Shannon and Sabina, they wanted to talk about specific things, just like you like to, because in your passion, but you get to see how important it is for allowing somebody else's opinion and thoughts. I hope that helps translate for you when you get to see people and you want to just share everything about what you're doing because you just love the passion. But when you get to flip it around and really be curious about other people and what their passion is, because that's what's going to also help in the 7 F's that Shannon was talking about. Because when you have strong relationships, when you feel like I don't have to do stuff during the day, you have the energy to look at the 7 F's. The way that Sabina showed up in discussing joy and happiness, it made life become more obvious when I'm hurting myself. And happiness isn't hurting, but for some reason it translated with me because this is it. If I feel like if I get something done, then I get a reward. And the only time I give myself a reward is when I do something. And so that's happiness. Like, oh, yay, I finally did it. And the whole time that gap while you're trying to figure out how to get to whatever goal it is, that you're not enjoying the fun. And so it's hard to celebrate. And then you get tired if you do that consistently throughout your life. So now the happiness is a wonderful, fabulous thing, as Sabina was sharing about, like, it's like putting on music and all of a sudden you're feeling happy. So you get a transformation there because you made something happen. And so that's when you're bringing happiness in. So it could be food, it could be music, you're summoning it in. Joy is very interesting because you can see there's like a thin line sometimes. Well, what's joy and happiness? So there's a thin line because there's some things you could see that I'm putting music on, and so that makes me happy, but it also makes joy. So I created space. But the joy was about nature and about walking into a room and being able to hear silence or hear your kids be in their spirit, and or hearing nothing even though your kids are running around, but your brain is like so focused. So we had questions about that earlier. So there was so much power in what Sabina was sharing. So for you who came for specific health and wellness and wondering about diet, did you see how it opened up for you where there was so much that was serving you? I hope the joy and happiness really gave you some interesting introspect about how that is that works for you with food and insight. And Shannon talking about money and understanding joy and happiness, how that comes to making sure you don't do things maybe 20 times a month, but maybe say yes a couple times, that kind of thing. And enjoy it too, because you have 7 plates. It's not all just about money and life and how you're going to spend that. So I loved how the whole team came together, and the support that Raven gave you is much needed. So think about how many calls that you would love to make. So you're thinking about the spirits that you want to connect with, and so that you start making new friends. And so it doesn't have to be a number, but make sure that you're seeing those people that you want to be connected that are going to come and do stuff with you. And what's your yes for others? And I love that you were here. That was your yes to be part of the Fresh Inspiration Show and enjoy your time here. I love the all in. I'm going to make sure that I go through our feed and I see who's in for the skin analysis, and I will connect with you. And I'll do it through direct messaging so that we can connect that way. And so I'm really happy to share with you that I really believe that relationships is the way to go, and you never want to affect somebody that you love so much because you don't have everything flowing like the 7 plates, and you're getting stuck in one area and you're not allowing yourself relationships to build in a creative way. So make sure there's well-roundedness around your money, around your food, around your spirit, around the choices you make and how you're running your business, how you don't really want to play small, that you really want to play big. Who are you going to lock arms with to be able to enjoy that experience? We can't do it alone. And we really can't. And we could, because I mean, that's old school. And that's why we call solopreneurs. I think there might be a new name because solo really does mean I'm on my own. You may even have a coach, but you still feel solo. But the thing is why I stand where I'm at is because I have a mama that supports me. I have a husband that looks at me like, I really appreciate you. I have kids, they're teenagers and they're a lot of fun, but there's the ebbs and flows and really allowing those relationships to be. So I'm not showing up here just as Rhonda Liebig, the health coach, the host of the show. I want you to think about this. Everywhere that you partnered in life to get to where you are is take off that ego hat, please, and bow down to the beauty and let the top crown here and the flow of all that energy and that flow from all the people that you so care about. This is the last part of the days where you have to make a decision of the people you won't speak to anymore because they're just so bad for you and they're toxic. And I'll tell you why in a moment. To those people that serve you, and that's all you focus on because you feel like there's an imbalance there, there's a bridge there. And so now you're not putting any hurt on anybody because they may be in a space that's not serving you. What I challenge and appreciate space with you here is all the stuff you learned, allow that to bring you up out of the headspace and start living and being, living and being. So the people over here is going to feel that frequency. The people over here that's not ready for that, that's natural attrition. You never have to fight, you never have to be confrontational. And even if it's somebody that lives in your house, you show up differently and you stop fighting and you start realizing, even if it's a husband, I'm saying that because sometimes we're trying to figure out like, husband-wife relationship and oh my gosh, and they're this and that and stuff like that, but they're really close with us. Think about if you showed up in the frequency and the tools that you learned today, where's that going to take you in your personal space? So then you can macro it out to how it affects your business and feel the repercussions so that your husband or wife knows who you are. They get to make the decision for themselves. You get to make the decision for you. Same thing with business. Same thing when you divide those people. It's time to stop fighting. It's time to bring the balance of the feminine and the masculine and see where that takes you. What really works for you? Everybody's an individual, just like a diet, just like spiritual, just like finance. It's just all individual. Let's take the judgment and the word out of stuff and let's come together in love in a way that is strategic. We need to work on it. We do, but we got to love on it too. So loving on stuff is fabulous. It's fabulous. This is me signing off with the Fresh Inspiration Show. You heard my spiel about how you can connect with me if you are a business owner, you are a speaker, and you really want to have some space held for you. I do want you to connect with me. This is my special sauce. So we'll talk more about that. If you are looking for your finances and you want to learn how to balance that and you want somebody that will talk numbers with you because there's 20 years experience in there, but that also you want to have a spiritual space where it's like, I need to get out of my head so I can deal with debt and I can deal with things I'm fighting. You want to find Shannon.